102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:34, and Pink Floyd with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102.
I don't know what's going to happen today because I don't have the weather in front of me. I just sat down.
Well, let me see if I can give you a little preview, Steve. A mix of sun and clouds today, a high of 33. Tonight, a few passing clouds, but temperatures dropping to about 10. It's about 24 degrees right now.
There's more complete passing clouds today than Patrick Mahomes had last night during the Super Bowl.
Scott Cohen will be joining us to talk about last night's failed three-peat and all the many things that happened in between.
Not just failed, but massacred. A massacred three-peat. You couldn't even...
The fact they managed to score 22 points by the end of it is a little surprising because I didn't think they'd get even that far.
Well, that was all part of the NFL script. You have to at least score some points in the game.
Not for nothing, but I think there's a chance I may have won our illegal office pool last night.
Did you?
I might have.
I don't think you did because I checked the numbers last night, and did you win maybe a quarter?
I think I won the final.
No, you didn't win the final. It definitely wasn't you.
No. I'll have to look at it again. Anyway, Dare to Dream. I wouldn't know what I would do with all that money I would have won anyway.
$100.
Yeah, I got any number of things. I could have filled up my gas tank twice.
Could have.
So there's that, and there's more. It's 5:36 at Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. Nagle on Rock 102.
Cloudy with some snow showers throughout the day. High of 33. Tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds with a high of 34. It is 22 right now in downtown Springfield.
Hollywood Trash is brought to you by Western Mass Masons. Call them for all your foundation and chimney needs.
Somehow you still care about what's happening in Hollywood. So, from Tinseltown, 3,000 miles away, it's Steve Nagle's Hollywood Trash.
Oh, he did it! He did it last night! That Kendrick Lamar. He did indeed perform the Drake diss track Not Like Us during the Super Bowl halftime show.
Well, it's his biggest hit.
He also said, say Drake, I hear you like 'em young. And he had Drake's ex, Serena Williams, in the show.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
Geez,
Talk about throwing shade.
No kidding. I don't know, but did you see it?
Yeah, I watched it.
I thought it was boring.
You know, I was thinking about this, and it's not for us. Because my kids were going crazy over the fact that, this guy's performing, and they enjoyed the program. It's not for everybody,
no,
and you can never find one show, Super Bowl. Name one other great Super Bowl halftime show performance that you've seen in your lifetime.
Prince.
How many years ago was that?
He was still alive at the time.
Yeah, but how many years ago was that?
Enough years where he was still alive at the time.
But the point being is nobody really remembers what Super Bowl what year that was or what.
No, of course not. But no, and I'm not saying I don't like Kendrick Lamar. I respect the guy. I have no problem with his music, but I just thought that the whole performance was a little dull. In fact, the only thing I thought was exciting was how many people you could pull out of a Grand National at the beginning of it. I didn't think those cars were that big.
Was that? I thought it was a Monte Carlo.
No, that's a Grand National.
Oh, I thought it was a Monte Carlo.
No.
I don't know.
I don't think you could. Listen, to the best of my knowledge, you can't fit 30 dancers at a Grand National.
The whole thing was introed by Samuel L. Jackson, who provided some narration between the songs. And there was one more guest who wasn't exactly invited. A protester with a Palestinian flag ran onto the field and was eventually grabbed by security.
Which you never saw on camera.
I remember the girl, I don't know if it was last year. See, this is how I can't even remember which Super Bowl performances it was. It was a girl who pretended she could dance.
Uh-huh.
And then she fell off the stage. Do you remember this whole thing?
Yeah, vaguely.
Yeah, she lied on her resume about her being able to do a dance number, and she went and I think she roller skated. I think they were on roller skates, and she roller skated off the stage.
Did they not figure that out in rehearsals?
I guess not, but still, I mean, with the whole performance thing, it's not for. They're never for everybody. Were you impressed by the pregnant Rihanna when she did that? Were you?
Much more so. But most people on the internets are not happy with the Kendrick Lamar thing.
Why?
They just didn't think it was that good of a performance.
But that's my point, though. It's like what makes a good I don't. Are you watching the Super Bowl just for the halftime show?
Some people are, but it is also the biggest stage of any entertainment venue in the world. So,
in which most people, if you don't like it, that's the time to go get snacks. And
no. You go. It's the little halftime wrap up before the halftime show. That's when you go to the bathroom, you grab another plate of snacks.
Yeah.
Get back on the couch and you watch the rest of it.
The last time the Super Bowl was on Fox in 2023, a 30-second ad cost $7 million, and like most things, the price went up to $8 million this year. Since there's no longer an element of surprise, quite a few commercials were released ahead of time, but they're still fun. Here's a roundup of some of the best ads. Got a case of the Mondays? It's not hard It's hard not to the day after the Super Bowl. These sloths were having a very slow day. Did you see that one?
I did.
Aubrey Plaza, Michael Shannon, and Bad Bunny might be part of the Ritz Salty Club, where smiles are forbidden, but they can't help enjoy the crackers. Ben Affleck and his brother Casey brought his brother Casey along to join the Dung Kings. Remember when J-Lo was in it with him last year?
Yeah, she's not in it this year.
The ad also starred Jeremy Strong, Bill Belichick, Kevin Smith, and Jay Muse. There's also an extended 7-minute short film called The Dung Kings 2, the movie.
I'm almost positive I won't watch that.
I have no interest. What's with flying hair this year? First, we had Eugene Levy's eyebrows flying off when he tried little Caesar's Crazy Puffs. What was that all about?
I don't know, but then was the flying mustache one.
Right. Yeah, the Pringles ad. Adam Brody.
Are they the same company? I don't even know.
Pringles and Little Caesars?
I mean, are they owned by the same parent? I mean,
who knows?
Isn't it weird that you have a flying mustache and flying eyebrows in the same Super Bowl?
You know what?
I'd be embarrassed. I'd be embarrassed by that.
I enjoyed the Budweiser commercial with the foal of rolling the beer into the bar.
Yes,
because Budweiser, our beer is so crappy it tastes like a foal dragged it through the dirt to get to you. I was like, that was the most truthful advertisement I've ever seen.
At least they're not lying to you.
Yeah, it tastes like you drove it through you dragged it through mud and muck to get to a bar. Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal did the whole, Harry Met Sally thing. Sydney Sweeney was played Rob Reiner's mom.
You see a seal as a seal?
Yes.
That was
weird.
Creepy.
That was kind of creepy. And I can't believe, that just goes to show you that, he was one of those guys years ago that, like, he was so protective of his music. And
he was an artist.
And now he's like, yeah, you know what? For a couple of $1 million, I'll go on and dress up like an actual seal.
My art can be bought. My integrity has a cost.
Did you know Tom Brady runs on Duracell batteries? Did you see that one?
I did that, yep.
He is not... I'll talk about this with Cohen. He is not a good commentator. He should not be the guy calling the Super Bowl.
It's his first year. Do you remember your first year in radio? You were terrible.
Yeah, well, I'm also...
The worst.
But I didn't go from one career to another.
You went from that one station to here.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Well, it needs to be changed. And by the way, Kim Kardashian had a Super Bowl party last night, but not many people showed up, so she was pretty upset.
I'm sure had something to say.
Oh, my God, the last time I was this upset was when Ray J spread my Philly Eagle and stuffed my tight end with his Kansas City Beefs in that sex tape you can purchase on YouPorn for $39.95. I can't say the actual word that I wanted to say.
No, I get it.
But it rhymes with beef.
Well, thank you for editing. Kalen?
Well, I never got that down and dirty with your brother Chris Kim, but I once scored in the red zone. I was rooting for the Chiefs, but I was pounding the Browns in Pooper Bowl 69.
What are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is by the time I was done with her, she looked like Jalen Hurts had spiked a ball into a bowl of Philly cream cheese on a muddy field. I call it the Lick-In Financial Field. Did you ever have the Lick-In Financial?
No, never had tickets to that place.
And that's your Hollywood trash at Rock 102. Ugh.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Winter Storm Headquarters, before and after the storm.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Well, folks, that's it. The Super Bowl is over, and for those of you who are expecting the Kansas City Chiefs to complete an unprecedented Super Bowl three-peat, you were treated to an old-fashioned behind-the-woodshed ass-whooping at the hands of the Philadelphia Eagles, losing the Super Bowl by a laughable one-sided score of 40-22, thereby obliterating the very idea of a Super Bowl three-peat for many years to come. And you know what? I'm really okay with that. I think I speak for most people when I tell you I've grown a little tired of the Kansas City Chiefs constantly winning Super Bowls. Clearly time to give somebody else a shot. Unfortunately, that somebody else had to be the Philadelphia Eagles, who, despite outplaying the Chiefs all night long, are bringing their second Lombardi trophy home to their obnoxiously poisoned fan base. Now, I know there are some people who will tell you that it is the New England football fans who are the most infuriating and insufferable. But I'm here to tell you that compared to the fans of the Philadelphia Eagles, Patriots fans are a comparatively well-behaved group. Much like the Apostles, for example. Case in point, last night, the Eagles fans around the city of Philadelphia were seen rioting, looting, and setting things on fire. In one reported incident, fans were seen throwing things out of a laundry truck, while others were busy shouting such offensive slogans as F Taylor Swift. First of all, I can assure you that Taylor Swift already has a boyfriend. Secondly, someone's going to have to refold all that laundry. Some of it might even need to be rewashed, and that's time-consuming. Sure, other championship cities may have been prone to explosive pockets of fan violence and arson, but this was different. This was in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. Well, I'll tell you this much. If I had a brother, I wouldn't go messing around with his laundry. Instead, they'll be rewarding people with a parade, a visit to the White House, and free championship T-shirts, which also need to be cleaned, dried, and neatly folded. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. You know, your steel chainsaw needs service or repairs from time to time, or sharpening. When that happens, you need to take it to Mark at the South Hadley Rockies. Mark is a steel-trained chainsaw expert. He'll keep your steel purring like a kitten with very sharp teeth. Good people, rock solid service at every Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 612 and Blue Oyster Cult with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Mix of sun and clouds today with a high of 33. Tomorrow, more of the same. It's 21 right now in downtown Springfield.
Scott Cohen will be here after 7 o'clock. I'm pretty sure we'll be talking about the football game last night, the Super Bowl. That seems to be the thing that we would probably talk about with him.
So what? We don't want to talk about it now?
No, we can talk about it now amongst ourselves.
What a horrible performance by the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, and this is where I was just telling you this off the air, that I kind of believe in that whole, like, the gambling industry really controls the outcomes of these games, because the Chiefs were the favorites to win.
Yeah.
Leading all the way up until last night, and then the subpar performance that they delivered on the field, they got their asses kicked.
Yeah, I don't
over that field. So bad that the only sitting U.S. president to ever attend a Super Bowl game left before it ended, and he was a fan of the Chiefs. And you know what? That's a great excuse to, like, I'm the president. Like, I got president stuff to do. I got to leave and beat the traffic. It was kind of like my dad used to leave during the seventh inning of a baseball game.
I was going to say that, not to be a contrarian, but maybe he just wanted to leave to get back to the car and beat the traffic. I mean, I wouldn't have stayed till the end of it. Not with that final score.
You got to beat the air traffic before you get home.
Yes,
but that's what I'm getting at. Like, that's how bad the performance was, that you can't even stay. And I know the excuse will probably be, I got president stuff to do, but that's kind of like having kids. Like, I got to get home to my kids before the babysitter's costing me money. I got to get home before that whole thing happens.
Steve, if I were president of the United States, I'd be using that excuse all over the place. Yeah. I'm sorry. I have to go be the leader of the free world now.
I gotta do presidential stuff.
Yeah,
listen, I don't have time for this.
I would love to stick around for the second half, but there's a world to run.
But what a god awful.
Well, listen, I'm not gonna sit here and try to argue with you and try to knock off that tinfoil hat of yours with this conspiracy theory that it's all a big fake ruse. But Philadelphia is a damn fine team. Pretty sure I said that last week and the week before that that is a team to be reckoned with.
Now, how did they?
That defense they were awesome last night.
Did they play each other during the regular season?
I do not believe they did.
All right, so we don't know how they would have matched up against each other previously. But come on, I mean, with all this the type and the talk and the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win, blah 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 blah. They're the favorites to win by all sports betting, online sources that I was looking at that were saying that the Chiefs were the ones that were going to win this whole thing. And then they got their asses kicked all over that field.
I'll tell you what.
Taylor Swift didn't get laid last night.
I watched all 6 hours of the pregame coverage.
Yeah.
Every single bit of it. And when I saw that Michael Strahan, Gronk, and Jimmy Johnson all picked the Philadelphia Eagles, I thought, you know what? This can only go one way. If Gronk, a guy that intelligent, is going to pick the Philadelphia Eagles, that's who I'm picking. And listen, I got no skin in the game whatsoever. Didn't really bet anything. I really dislike both teams. I mean, I thought that the ones that I was rooting for were the referees, and I think they were ready to do the job that they were paid to do. It's just that the Chiefs were too terrible to realize, hey, there's a game going on here tonight.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think there's a lot to that gambling thing that promotes the outcome of the game.
And I think you're prone to believe any conspiracy that's dangled in front of your face.
No, that's not true. I believe that it's driven by money. It's all driven by money.
What about those Bigfoot T-shirts you bought?
I didn't buy any Bigfoot T-shirts.
What about that Loch Ness Monster jacket you had?
I think that's a more feasible conspiracy theory to believe than a lot of other ones that are out there.
Well, I don't believe for a second that it's all fake. I think they were playing hard. You could see the sadness in Patrick Mahomes' face. At one point, they showed a picture of his bottom lip was hanging down like it was going to fall and break his big toe.
Oh, yeah, they showed Travis Kelce out there, too.
He looked sad.
He looked very sad. Taylor Swift looked sad. I mean, that was a tough loss for her, too. She's going to dump his ass now. She doesn't date losers.
No kidding. Yeah,
right?
She only dates winners.
You're right, yeah. So maybe she'll switch teams.
Yeah, that's well, I don't know if she'll switch teams, but she'll be off that bandwagon.
The other thing, the commentary, Tom Brady, I don't know if somebody's writing lines for him. I saw him during one of the breaks where they have the camera on both of them.
Yeah.
And he's clearly reading something off this, like he's reading analysis off a teleprompter. And he's not very good at learning how to read off a teleprompter. And you can clearly tell that he was reading that.
Well, there may be some of that, but I think when he's doing, in-game analysis, when the game is going, when they're going to him, on camera, that's one thing. But when he's calling the game, I don't think he's terrible. I'd still rather listen to him than 5 seconds of Tony Romo any day.
I don't know, man.
Bring
back Joe Buck.
I find Romo to be. Listen, I wouldn't mind Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. I like those guys.
Yeah,
I really do. Romo's insufferable, and Tom, it's his first year, and if we, like I said before earlier in the show, if we went back and listened to our first tapes of our first year in broadcasting, we'd be humiliated by it.
Yeah, but
it's going to take time for Tom to
there's no
get his footing.
There's no incentive for him to get any better at this. He's already got the contract. It's not like they're going to break the contract because they don't like the way he calls the games. They call him because all they were doing was talking about his performances. Remember the time that you did
he won
this
7 Super Bowls. Of course, you're going to talk to him about what he did.
So what? Patrick Mahomes is no Tom Brady.
No, but I'm sure if you're on the set and you're going to say, Tom, can you imagine maybe going for a three-peat for a Super Bowl? I bet you never even dreamed of something like that.
And then the other thing, when they go to the halftime show, they show there's 6 of them. There's Gronk. There's Terry. What's his name?
Terry Bradshaw.
Terry Bradshaw. Who else was there?
Kurt Menefee.
All the 6 of them.
Yeah,
and they all have to get in one line. Is that like one of those? Okay, well we need all 6 of you here, and I think each one of you is going to have some sort of piece of advice to go through the whole thing.
Well, yeah, that's you need that
Why do you
kind
need
of diversity.
6 people? 4 maybe?
Because I think they're all waiting for the day that Terry Bradshaw decides to finally retire.
I don't think he's ever going to retire. They're going to have to pull that football from his cold, dead hands.
He made some comment like a week ago.
Yeah.
That he will be willing to leave after the 2029 season. I'm like, come on, 4 more years of this?
Well, I mean,
you'll never last, dude.
I mean, he wants money. Who doesn't? If you were in that position, you wouldn't leave either.
I think at some point I might want to let some young buck take over.
Yeah,
and let them do it. I mean, if you're Terry Bradshaw, what more do you need to prove?
Your bank account. That's what you need to prove. And if you had that kind of money being paid to be broadcasting, you would stay in it too. It's not. You're not going to stay in this place. How many days you got left now?
2,417 days.
Yeah, you're not going to stay here because you don't have that kind of. They're not going to give you that kind of money.
Well, Steve, you may find this hard to believe. I'm not purely motivated by money.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Prove it.
I will. Believe me, I will.
Give me 5 things that I would normally do just for the money.
Because the last year you're here, you're going to realize, hey, I need more money. I'm going to sign for another 5 years.
No, that will not happen. By the way, it's 2,407 I was off.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
But real quick, you were talking during your view from the couch about the Eagles.
Yes.
The fans, being obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the poles? You know how they grease the poles?
Yes.
So nobody could climb them. They took the whole pole down.
That's exactly what makes Philadelphia such a wonderful city. They don't care about climbing. They just want to They just want to destroy.
Yeah, we're not going to worry about you telling us that we can't climb the poles by you greasing them up with WD-40. We're just going to take the whole pole with us. And they were all carrying it like they were Vikings. They're like, yeah, and they're smiling and they're walking. Good for them.
It's just about 6:23 on Rock 102. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 6:28. And Stone Temple Pilots at Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown will have the full forecast for you.
Rock 102 is teamed up with the Springfield RV Camping and Outdoor Show to hook you up with the gear you need to get outside and go camping. It's a prize package that includes a 6-person tent, travel pillows, 2 solar lanterns, 2 outdoor rocking chairs, a 45-quart cooler, an easy cot, and 2 sleeping bags. You sign up at rock102.com for your chance to win. If you want to increase your chances of winning, come by the Springfield RV Camping and Outdoor Show at the Eastern States Exposition between February 14th and 17th, where you can enter again and get 5 bonus entries. We'll choose a winner on February 18th who'll win Pat Kelly's camping gear from Springfield's RV Camping and Outdoor Show and Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
We'll wipe the Pat Kelly off it before you give it to you.
Oh, yeah, we'll hose it down.
You don't want that Pat Kelly stank on it.
That decreases the value.
Do you want to laugh?
I want to laugh.
All right, let's laugh.
It's Bax and Nagle's Joke of the Day.
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you.
On Rock 102.
I make you laugh.
Springfield's Classic Rock.
What do the Kansas City Chiefs and a Chick-fil-A manager have in common?
I don't know. What do they have in common?
Neither one shows up for work on a Sunday. They lost the big game, and they were supposed to do it 3 times, and they didn't deliver.
6:33 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news brought to you by Gary Rome Hyundai. Technicians get up to a $5,000 sign-on bonus right now. Learn more at GaryRomeHyundai.com/family. His local radio icon, Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. The Chicopee Police Department had closed Abbey Memorial Drive due to a serious motor vehicle crash. According to police, the department's crash reconstruction team was responding to investigate the incident. This must have happened last night sometime. I'm sure the road is reopened now. But if we don't have any updates, I don't know how you can tell if the road's reopened or not. They're asking drivers to seek alternate routes. It's unknown how long the road will be closed.
Well,
And nobody calls over there and says, "Hey, is the road open yet?"
there's probably nobody over there to answer the phone. So my
Sure, there's
guess.
somebody at the police department that would answer the phone.
Well, crimes in Chicopee don't happen until at least 7 o'clock in the morning.
They work 24 hours a day.
Not in a row.
Some of them don't, but some of them do.
Come on, it's the day after Super Bowl. You know people are going to be going in to work late today.
Yeah, I guess,
Even public safety is they're probably just, they're dragging their heels like everybody else.
Yeah, we're going to get to that crime eventually, but we got to wake up from our Super Bowl hangover that we have from last night.
I woke up with the meat sweats.
Yeah.
I can't investigate crime right now.
Speaking of which, what was your snack that you had last night? That was
I had big plans, and then as the day was going on, I'm going, I don't want to do all that. So I really just made it simple.
It's simple.
We went out to breakfast, after the snowstorm, made some nachos, and pretty much that was about it.
Like poor man's nachos? Like where you put them in the microwave and you throw some cheese on it? And then
No.
that's it?
I made my own queso last night.
Oh, you made your own queso.
You make your own queso.
My kid, who is phenomenal at like making breads and stuff like that, made 2 pizzas: a pepperoni pizza and a chicken Alfredo pizza.
Oh, damn!
It was like a salted crust with olive oil and toasted sesame.
Really?
It tasted like a pretzel. It was really, really good.
Huh, how about that kid?
I know. I didn't get it from me, that's for sure.
Well, I had these big plans. I wasn't that hungry.
Yeah, I wasn't that hungry either. I mean, I didn't make anything. We didn't make anything other than the pizzas because how much can you eat, especially among, one adult and 2 teenagers?
Well,
you're not going to eat,
There's just 2 adults in the house, and we had a big, substantial breakfast with that bacon hash from Evan's Egg House.
Oh yeah,
which was delicious, and that filled me up for a good portion of the day.
I made my own bacon hash last week.
How was it?
It was really good. You want to know how I did it?
How'd you do it?
I took tater tots.
Tater tots,
Right?
Yes.
And I cooked them in the air fryer.
Uh-huh.
And then I chopped up some bacon and fried that.
Yeah.
And then I took the tater tots when they were done.
Yeah.
Put them into the I had some onion in there too.
Sure.
And then I put them into the pan with the bacon and the onion.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I just took one of those potato mashers and mashed it all up so it all kind of culminated together, and then you let it like fry and crisp a little bit.
How was it?
It was delicious.
Of course it's delicious.
Yeah, it's easy to make. I don't know. There's always these things that you think are harder to make than they actually are.
It's true. Like, for example, my queso was simple.
You know how easy it is to make sushi rice? I didn't even know that it was just rice vinegar and sesame oil. That's all that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But in your head, you're like, well, I have to go to some fancy restaurant in order to get this. No, you don't. You can make it yourself.
Well, I mean, there is an art to making, high quality sushi. I mean, there are years of training.
I mean, if you're talking about all the different. I wouldn't do the raw fish thing myself.
You wouldn't?
No, I've done the tempura before.
You wouldn't have caught a couple of fish in the Westfield River and brought them to the house?
No, I don't. What? I have enough mercury. I've ingested enough mercury over my time.
That's so weird. My doctor says I'm not getting enough mercury.
Really?
Or tar.
Well, maybe you should. Start smoking. Start smoking and start
Thinking
eating
about
more.
it, seriously thinking about it.
Start eating more fish out of the Long Island Sound. You'll have your mercury levels up in a day.
My doctor told me I should go fishing in the Connecticut River during a rainstorm.
Oh yeah. Because you need a little more E. coli.
He's saying I'm not getting enough raw sewage in my diet.
Listen, if things aren't moving right, you can always get E. coli.
That'll move things along.
Yeah.
Sure.
A joint law enforcement
Joint.
team comprised of members of the Mass State Police, Lawrence Police, and Drug Enforcement Administration arrested a man from the Dominican Republic last Thursday in connection with an alleged drug trafficking operation. I thought this story was about here. I didn't realize it was about Lawrence.
No. I don't know who this Lawrence fella is.
But the headline on Mass Live makes it sound like it was local.
Well, were some of the drugs from Lawrence coming into Springfield?
No. Mass State Police said that they might have been, but they don't say that in the story. Mass State Police said the team was investigating a methamphetamine and fentanyl trafficking operation that had been linked to a man under suspicion of using a false identity. Mr. Barry McAukener was arrested.
That was not his name he was using.
No, I'm just... No, but when you say somebody with a false identity, Oliver Closeoff, that kind of guy.
Amanda Hug and Kiss.
Law enforcement officials were able to obtain a warrant for the suspect's residence on Bailey Street in Lawrence. When they entered the home, they located 2 individuals, including the suspect. The search proved successful as police found large quantities of narcotics of different varieties, 3 firearms hidden in furniture, narcotic packaging material, and $15,000 in cash.
In a nice town like Lawrence.
Yeah, you would
Thought
have
I'd never lived to see the day.
You would have never have thought that kind of thing would happen out in Lawrence, Massachusetts.
No.
But here we are talking about it, Let's see. I'm just looking for some other stories here. The whole news thing is dominated by the Super Bowl.
Well, it's a big story, Steve. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's coming off the high of watching Kansas City eat a big fat bag of garbage right there in the Superdome.
But there are other stories out there.
Americans don't care.
You don't care about what's going on in your backyard?
There's like nothing going on in my backyard.
Are you sure?
Unless I got the TV watching the Super Bowl in the backyard.
Yeah, I'm just looking for local stories. I don't see anything local. Talking about there's stories about Super Bowl snacks that the snowstorm that we had over the Saturday night into Sunday, which was not as bad as they said it was going to be.
I'm at the point now where I can't even believe anything I hear from a meteorologist.
Have you seen my videos? I've been making these weather videos that people seem to like.
It's nice to know that someone in local media is making TikTok videos that people are watching. I know there are some that can't get much more than 15 people at a time.
Well, I dropped the ball. I was going to do this video about Taylor Swift, knowing that the Kansas City Chiefs were going to lose the Super Bowl because Taylor Swift didn't win any Grammys. Man, I missed the boat on that one.
It's that kind of logic that really is going to tie you close to a long broadcast career.
We've had GPS on our phones for, well over a decade.
Couple months now?
Well, a couple days, weeks. I wouldn't go so far as to say months.
No.
But I guess these guys hadn't heard. 2 guys in Missouri got caught with drugs the other day after stopping to ask police for directions. Their names are Aaron Reagan and Alan Richards. They're both 27. They pulled up next to some cops back on January 31st and asked how to get to Osage Beach, or it's Osage Beach, I guess. It's in the Ozarks, in the middle of the state, right?
Okay.
It turned out they were already in Osage Beach and didn't realize, and that's right when the officers realized they might not be sober. They asked them, the cops they stopped to ask happened to be there doing a training session for drug dogs.
Oh,
what are the
so
chances?
many mistakes here.
What are the chances that you, trafficking drugs, get so high that the person you stop and ask for directions for is not only a police officer, but a police officer with a drug training dog doing a training operation for the very thing that you have in your car?
I'm not going to be the kind of guy that is going to offer advice to, say, like a drug cartel or a drug, like a drug operation. But if you're going to hire a driver to move your product from one area to another, they should be required to wait until the delivery is made before they get high. Absolutely. I think you get high of the bejesus, but you got to make delivery first before you start, sampling a little bit of things in the back.
This is something to add to the Steve Nagle College of Criminal Knowledge class.
Yes.
Listen, first of all, make sure you have working GPS in your car before you go
and use it
around high.
Use it.
You use the Days app. Right?
Yeah. By the way, that TomTom Go of yours, it's not going to be good enough.
Or your Garmin.
Your Garmin, please.
So the cops brought over the dogs and they found 2 grams of meth inside. Man, both men are facing drug possession charges.
God, it's too bad.
You know, if you can't drive around high and get quality directions from a cop,
You know,
whom can you trust?
You know, with a squad car that says canine on it.
That canine narcotics unit on the side of it.
Usually the canine crew is pretty obvious.
Yeah, that's like,
it says canine on the side.
That's like driving up to the Springfield FIU.
Hey, with a language.
Firearms investigation unit and holding a gun going, excuse me, officer, do you know where I could find a pizza joint that I could leave my car running outside?
You're scratching the back with that butt of the, the gun. Oh, I got an itch right there. Oh, yeah. All right, got it.
Oh, who makes your back scratcher? Remington. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be cloudy to start, then mix of sun and clouds with a high of 33. Tomorrow, more of the same with a high of 34. It is 22 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Aw, yeah.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 6:52 and Skinnerd with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Gonna be mix of sun and clouds with a high of 33. Tomorrow, more of the same. It's 19 right now in downtown Springfield.
This week in Baxy's Musical Podcast, my guest is Hugo Burnham from the band Gang of Four. I talked to him a couple years ago. They're about to do their farewell tour, which is going to kick off in Boston on the 20th of April at the Crystal Ballroom at the Somerville Theater. An amazing guy, and he's also been a professional session player, a manager, a record executive. He's also a professor at Endicott College in Beverly, Mass. Great guy. You can hear that interview on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, the Rock 102 YouTube channel, rock102.com, as well as on the app. It's all brought to you by Metro, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. It should be on Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
Are you a member of the Mile High Club?
No.
Well, you want to be?
First of all, there's no room in the bathrooms on an airplane.
It's not an airplane. CNN did a story on a hot air balloon company in California that lets you join the Mile High Club. It's called Magical Adventure Balloon Rides, based about 90 miles southeast of L.A. in Temecula, California. You won't have to hide what you're doing. It's called the Mile High Flight because they know that's exactly what you're doing.
Is the basket big enough?
Well, there's a pilot with you, right?
Uh-huh.
But don't worry because he's behind a screen with earmuffs, Giggity, on to give you some privacy. There's a screen and some earmuffs. Like he won't look.
I would be looking.
I would be looking too.
You don't know if it's like other balloons coming your way or other planes or spaceships.
Their balloons normally stop around 3,000 feet up in the air, but their Mile High trip goes to 5,280 feet to give you the full experience.
Wow.
Yeah. The whole flight is 3 hours long. Pricing for 2 passengers starts at $1,400. Or if you're really getting freaky, you can bring a third person for an extra $159.
Get out of here.
A fourth for $159. Now, if they were smart, they would have priced this out that the third person would cost you an extra $369. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To make it a little bit more significant. They say the basket fits up to 10 people. Maybe not lying down, though.
So all of a sudden, it's an orgy in a balloon.
If you want to bring other people.
I see.
But it could be just you and your significant other doing that whole thing. They say if 10 people, but again, 4 is the max that you can bring along. Probably because you need the room.
Sure, right.
To do that, like you just said about the airplane bathroom.
Yeah, I gotta spread out, man. I can't be confined.
What if you spend all this money and then you can't get it up? Not
the balloon?
Not the balloon. I'm talking about ruin the evening being ruined.
Well, I would have a hard time maybe just after spending $1,400, but even I would have a hard time even if I were on surface ground.
Well, that's what I mean. You spend all this money and you go up there, nothing happens. You come back down, and your wife's going, "It's all right, honey. It happens to a lot of guys."
Oh, it's the hot air.
It's
the wind. It's the sandbags. I got nervous.
I don't know. Like making love in a hot air balloon. Is that really a fantasy for some people that they want to do that?
I don't know. Some people like the idea of there being danger.
I would imagine it's kind of cold up there.
Well, you can bring blankets, right?
I guess so, but you can't bring a heated blanket.
Well, you wouldn't. I mean, you wouldn't do it in February. You'd probably do it in like June or July.
Yeah, but it's California, so it's probably warm out there.
Yeah.
I mean, they're booking for Valentine's Day. They have one spot left at 6 a.m. That's what I'm saying. Like, who's that horny at 6 o'clock in the morning? Not just. I mean, maybe laying in bed. You could get it on as soon as you wake up. But I mean, you got to get dressed. You got to shower. You got to brush your teeth. You got to go out. You got to get ready to go out probably an hour beforehand.
Who's cleaning this thing up?
Maybe it's not being cleaned up. Maybe it's just one of these messy baskets.
I mean, there's some dumpy motels on Riverdale Street that probably clean their sheets a little bit faster than this place does.
Well, it's probably like that Pines Motel over in Memorial Drive over there. You never want to be the middle or the last couple of the day.
You never want to be the guy to demand early check-in.
But think about a movie.
Your room's not ready. I don't mind.
You go into a movie theater,
yes.
Right? If you go for the matinee, the theater is usually clean because they've cleaned the theater up from the last night's festivities where. People, but by the time you go up if you're like the middle of the afternoon hot air balloon ride, you've already had 12 couples do this whole thing beforehand. You're going to be like Robert De Niro in Taxi Driver telling you what cleaning the stuff off the seats.
It's 6:58. Scott Cohen joining us in just a few minutes on Rock 102.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Winter Storm Headquarters, before and after the storm.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? So, were the Kansas City Chiefs aware that the Super Bowl was last night? Because I would have thought the time to play football would have been between 6:30 and 10 p.m. Seems to me that would have been the window to three-peat. And yet, after watching 6 hours of pregame coverage, it became obvious to me that there was some sort of football game that had been scheduled, a football game that everybody knew about except Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City offense. This would explain why they seemed unprepared for the human buzzsaw of the Philadelphia Eagles, who went on to win Super Bowl 59 by a tight score of 40-22. Now, you might say, but Baxi, Patrick Mahomes still threw for 257 yards and had 3 touchdowns. Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts only managed 221 yards and 2 touchdowns. To which I would say, sure, but Mahomes threw 3 interceptions and took more sacks than Bonnie Blue posted on her OnlyFans account 2 weeks ago. Go on, look it up. Call me crazy, but that's not the way to conduct yourself in a history-making quest for an alleged unprecedented three-peat. That's the sort of playmaking ability you show when your team is facing mathematical elimination and looking to secure a top pick in the draft. In other words, they were playing like the Patriots. And not even the Drake May Patriots. They were like the Mac Jones Patriots, and that's no way to win a Super Bowl. How did this happen? Hard to say. I tend to believe that if winning 3 consecutive Super Bowls was so easy, it would have been done by now. But it is not. Instead, the Chiefs were manhandled by a much better, hungrier team that played impeccable defense all day. That's because the Eagles were aware that the Super Bowl was happening last night, whereas Kansas City didn't quite figure that out. Lord knows the referees are ready to do their part in helping him win, but by the end of the day, you got to play better football than that. That's why I think it bears repeating that the Kansas City Chiefs were not aware a football game was happening. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. The DeWalt 99 Power Tool Sale at Rocky's is going on. Get a DeWalt circular saw, reciprocating saw, DeWalt cordless grinder, cordless compact drill pit, and a lithium-ion battery. Get one, get them all. $99 each at your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 7-Eleven and Whitesnake. With Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Mix of sun and clouds today with a high of 33. It's 19 right now in downtown Springfield.
Well, we're all exhausted from the Super Bowl. To talk about it one more time is Scott Cohen.
Right.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, nothing. First of all, good to see you guys. I watched the game from 5 o'clock until the very end. I hung in there.
I watched it all.
Yep.
From like noon.
No,
until
you didn't.
I had it on. I had it on the entire time. Watched every human interest story. I watched the Mannings kick footballs. I watched the whole damn thing.
Yep. Yeah,
I watched The Sopranos until 6, and then I turned it on.
You did, but you did put it on. Oh,
I
good.
did.
That's good. That's good.
Good. So, what do we think?
Well, I think. First of all, the whole thing of a three-peat, if it were that simple to do, you would think it would have been done already. But
it would have been done already.
It hasn't been done since pre-Super Bowl time,
right? When
the Green Bay Packers did it in the 60s and again in the late 20s, early 30s.
Right. And the last American sports franchise to win 3 straight were the Lakers of Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah.
But going in the NFL, you got to go way back to the leather helmet routine.
Well, I think what happens is, I don't know if it's because a team gets tired or other teams start to figure out what your faults are. But that defense last night from Philadelphia, they were amazing.
Amazing.
I mean, no other team in the NFL was able to own the Chiefs like the Eagles did last night. All season, nobody put Patrick Mahomes on the ground 6 times.
Right. They couldn't just, Kansas City's O-line couldn't figure out one bit of the Eagles' front four. He was sacked 6 times. He was hurried 16 times. And the crazy thing about it is Philly didn't blitz. They don't blitz. For a team to win a Super Bowl, they have, percentage-wise, they have blitzed less than any other team. And when you blitz, you make things happen, you disrupt things. They didn't do that. They put that guy on the ground. He saw green, black, and white all night and nothing else.
I know there's a lot of people that are totally sick of seeing the Chiefs win. They're kind of like the new Patriots. Like
they
all of
are
America,
absolutely the new Patriots.
Everybody in America got really tired of the Patriots going to the Super Bowl one year after another. It's nice to see other teams win if they weren't the Philadelphia Eagles.
Come on.
Like of all teams, like I went into this thinking I don't want either one of these teams to. I want the referees to win. Those are the only guys that can make a difference.
Well, I think you say that, but there's nothing really what's to dislike about the Eagles?
I think it's more their insufferable fans.
Oh, it's the fans and it's the city and it's all, listen, and they come as advertised. But I mean, Jalen Hurts, nice young man. Saquon Barkley looks like a good dude. Mm-hmm. There's nothing not likable about the team. It's the city and the fans that everybody hates.
Well, that's really it. I mean, and plenty of people say, well, New England fans are every bit as insufferable. I don't think that's true. I think Philadelphia is so much worse.
They're worse. They're
among some of the worst people in all of America.
Well, I think obviously everybody was sick of it's the overexposure. It goes back to, we were talking about Tom Brady earlier. Kansas City is the new New England Patriots. Everybody hated Brady. Everybody hated Belichick. Belichick brought a lot of that stuff on himself. You want to talk about someone who's insufferable, right? But people are tired of Patrick Mahomes. They're tired of the State Farm commercials. They're tired of him, in the salon getting his hair done. They're tired of his girlfriend, of his brother. They're tired of Kelsey and Taylor.
No!
They're tired of it.
Blasphemy.
They're tired of it.
And you know what? The real winner last night was the gambling industry, because everybody had the Chiefs as the favorites to win, leading all the way up from over, when it was when they beat the Bills
in the AFC Championship.
Yeah. When they're like, oh no, the Chiefs are gonna go. And everybody was saying it, and then when the Las Vegas got involved, they're like, okay, you guys are going to have to take a dive this year because the Eagles are going to have to
You know what?
Win.
I was actually thinking about you while I was watching the game last night, because buddy, Patrick Mahomes laid an egg. An egg.
Yep, he did.
He played so bad. and he looked like he was just completely out of it. And you sit there.
Because some bookie in Las Vegas is like, hey, you know what? We're going to lose a lot of money if you guys win.
Yeah,
so.
we need to follow the script here. You know that you love that. I don't buy into that. But when you watch the way Mahomes played last night, he played so bad, and it came completely out of nowhere. And I don't get it, man. I don't get it. He might have had something going on that we may find out about in the coming days, but he just played awful and completely laid waste to the greatest of all time and the dynasty. I mean, dude, you just take all of that chatter and flush it down the toilet.
There has never been a more true conspiracy theory than when Alex Jones said the water is turning the frogs gay. You know,
and this is a close second.
That's right.
It's
a close second.
It's definitely on the same par. That's for sure. I don't know. Everyone talks about these dynasties, and they happen like every decade. You had the Steelers, you had Dallas and the
San
49ers,
Francisco
and exactly.
Yep.
And so here's the dynasty that we have now, and even with the game being what it was last night, I don't believe for a moment that Kansas City can't get back there. Provided that there are certain things that continue to happen.
Yeah, they'll. I think, and so I was actually going to follow up your dynasty talk with this one. I mean, the game now it's completely different than it was, 10, 15 years ago, when the Patriots were winning a lot of what they were winning. Players move around more now. Players move around all the time. Free agencies changed the game. And we've talked about this, and I've brought this up on this show many, many times. Patrick Mahomes is 30 years old. And one of the reasons that Tom Brady developed into the player that he was is the fact that he only got hurt one time in his career. He stayed on the field for technically decades, and he won a Super Bowl with Tampa as an old man. You don't. That just doesn't happen, and that's why you don't see these three-peats and the dynasties last this long now. Right. Two years, 2 Super Bowls, maybe 3 in a 4-year period. We may never see that happen again because the game's just different.
You may not get a three-peat, but at 30 years old, he's probably not got another good 6 or 7 seasons.
You would hope he does, Bax.
Still left in him.
Yep. You technically you would think that he could, but all it is, you're one serious knee injury away from being taken out, and then the body gets old, you get beat up. But that's why Brady was such an anomaly. He got hurt one time in his career, actually against the Kansas City Chiefs, when he hurt his knee, and that was it. He stayed on the field. He took care of himself. He did things that no other quarterback did before or has done since.
And now look at him.
He's
the next Tony Romo.
He's just as handsome as ever. I thought, I'll bet Brady took, and he'll never admit to this, but I'll bet he took great pleasure in calling that game last night and looking down from the play-by-play box and going, "Look at you, you miserable little piece of you-know-what. Go ahead, get in line.
Yeah.
This isn't happening," and Brady was the happiest guy in the building.
I don't... I mean, unless he's talking on both sides of his mouth. I mean, he was saying, "Oh no, I think it's great that records need to be broken and new records are set."
Blah 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 blah.
But yeah, I think there's something to be said about
absolutely
if you're the guy who's got a record. It's kind of like a couple of weeks ago when there was that thing that ESPN had about Mark Gastineau. and how angry he was that Brett Favre took a dive from Michael Strahan.
Yes.
And how he never got over it.
Right.
Like he confronted Brett Favre and said, you took a dive for Strahan.
Yeah.
I mean, he may have, but Gastineau has held on to that for almost 15, 20 years.
Yeah, the key is to keep it to yourself. And unfortunately, even in regular life, a lot of us just can't seem to do that.
A little bit of
enough.
graciousness would have been good.
So the halftime show.
Yes.
The halftime show.
I think Kendrick Lamar outplayed Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
times over.
He was a little bit more effective.
He had a much better night than Patrick Mahomes did. So obviously, a lot of people are talking about the halftime show, and I think the key to when you look at the halftime show from last night, you've got to really step back and take stock of, for the most part, that was not meant for any of us.
No,
it wasn't.
And usually it isn't. Most of those shows are not meant for the average football viewer.
And I think Steve, that's where the NFL makes the mistake. The Super Bowl brings, I mean, football fans are the 20%. The other 80% are the fringe people who have the parties and do this and do that. Mm-hmm. That the halftime show last night was not for your average person. And there's people who like us who are panning it, and then there's people who it was meant for said it was one of the greatest halftime shows they've ever seen.
I think there's something to be said about that. And Kendrick Lamar is a great artist. I mean, he's won multiple Grammy Awards. He's done very, very well. He's a substantially talented guy. But I found the whole thing to be boring, and not just because I felt like I didn't connect to the music. It's like I thought the whole thing was a little boring.
Yep.
On the other hand, you're set in front of the biggest audience in television around the world.
Right.
And I think maybe sometimes the NFL, they can put whatever they want on. It's still going to be the number one viewed program in the world or in America. But it might make more sense to have something that may be a little bit more mass appeal, than a Kendrick Lamar.
But you also have to remember that those performances are so restricted, and you can't. There's a lot of pressure put on an artist to come up with something that's only going to last 20 minutes. Ultimately,
it's 17 minutes.
17 minutes worth of time.
That may be true, but if you can pull 30 dancers out of a Grand National, it just proves there's nothing you can't do.
Yeah, right. I saw a post on social media, and all of us are on it, and you may bump into it today. There was a laundry list of what all the symbolism was in what Kendrick Lamar did last night.
Yeah.
And I read it, and it's not on my radar whatsoever. But there was symbolism in 90% of what was in his show last night. And so, but again, it's not for us. It's for a different audience. And like I said, you may see that list flying around on Instagram and Facebook today. If you have time, check it out, and maybe it'll open your eyes a little bit.
Remember the good old days when the halftime
Bruce
show
Springsteen's just singing, Thunder Road.
It was the Grambling State Marching Band.
Yep.
Those were the good old days.
Hey, they had the Southern Marching Band on last night. We used to, I think it was called the Bayou Bowl, I think, when I was working down in Southeast Texas. Southern and Grambling would play a football game every year.
Right.
And people didn't go to see the game. They went to see the band. So it was nice to see the Southern band play at as part of the halftime show.
There you go. All right. Well, next week we'll have nothing to talk about.
Yeah, we won't, right? You guys are off for the week.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, that's next week. That's right. Yeah.
We'll
so
see
there
you
you
in
go.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Okay, sounds good, guys.
All right, Scott Cohen. It's 7:26 on Rock 102. It's 7:28 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown has the full forecast for you.
Let's see here. Yeah, no, that's about it. Oh, Free Music Friday on Friday.
Oh yeah, how was that?
Actually, you know what? Really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was the band Gold Dust Refugee was pretty good. Good crowd. Nice time. Thanks for everybody at MGM for having us over there. This week it's going to be Trailer Trash with you.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see this new band that is out on the scene, on the local scene. This Trailer Trash. I've never heard of them before.
Really? Oh well.
I hope they bring a draw.
They tend to bring a bit of a small crowd
think
along
so?
with. Yeah, sometimes
Really?
yes.
Never heard of these guys at all.
I will tell you that because this is the indoor room at MGM, the Aria Ballroom.
Yeah.
There's a capacity limit. It's not like it is when it's outside in the summertime. You can just jam as many people outdoors as you can possibly fit in there, and they're not really necessarily at a count of who's there.
BJ Calvey's got some codes.
Yeah,
and he implements them, and you can only fit so many people in that Aria Ballroom.
Yes. So if you're waiting in line, just be patient. You might get a chance to get inside, but it's going to be a good one this Friday. Free Music Friday from 6:30 to 8:30 with Steve and the road crew with Trailer Trash.
You got to get there early.
You do.
Get there early and make sure, because again they make people wait because it's like a nightclub. It's you get to a certain capacity and you can't let any more people in until other people start leaving. So
but very much unlike a regular nightclub like a New York like a Studio 54.
Yeah.
They don't only let the good looking people come in.
Not for Trailer Trash.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not pointing fingers or anything.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
that
last Friday, they weren't just letting the good-looking people in.
They're an equal opportunity fan-based stuff. So,
right. Like they were letting nearly anybody.
Whether you look like a beauty queen or you look like, I don't know.
Like an industrial accident happened.
Yeah,
I mean, it didn't matter.
Like you look like Harvey Dent, like somebody threw acid in your face. They'll still let you in to watch Trailer Trash. And that's the only band they're going to let you in to go see.
We got news next at Rock 102. 7:34 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news brought to you by Gary Rome Hyundai. Technicians get up to a $5,000 sign-on bonus right now. Learn more at GaryRomeHyundai.com/family. There's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. A Wilbraham man could spend up to 5 years behind bars after allegedly making violent threats against officials, private individuals, and children. According to court documents between July and November of 2024, Funweo Milbini Naweo.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
36, who had several other aliases, I would imagine you would have to, posted various threats on X and Google, targeting people from officials and their family members to shopping malls across the country. His threats involved explicit and repeated threats to bomb, shoot, or otherwise kill his targets. He posted the threat to social media, saying, blow up the Wilbraham Police Department, kidnap and kill the officers and children. His threats also allegedly had ties to ISIS and Al-Qaeda. He was arrested in southern Florida yesterday and will remain in custody until he appears in a Springfield federal courtroom. Naweo faces up to 5 years in prison with 3 years of probation and a fine of up to $250,000.
I strongly suggest not taking him up on his offer.
Yeah, I would say not to do that. But
so where was he making these threats?
He was from Florida,
he
was doing them all over the country.
I see.
And they just happened to find him after making this particular threat. I guess. Things you put on the internet can be traced back to you for some. I didn't even know that.
Really?
Yeah. Who knew?
I didn't realize it was so pervasive like that. I thought once you posted it, it goes away, like on Snapchat.
No,
no one would ever find the things that disappear from there.
Even the things on Snapchat don't disappear.
Come on.
Yeah. If law enforcement wanted to find any of that stuff, they would definitely find it.
Okay. So. Yeah, live and learn.
There was a heavy police presence Saturday night on the Springfield Plaza on Liberty Street, right in front of Fun City Adventure Park. When the Western Mass News crews arrived on the scene shortly after 7 p.m., a line of police cruisers could be seen lined up along the sidewalk.
So when Western Mass News walked across the street to get there, that's what they found.
I know. They make it sound like they traveled far and wide to get to the fun zone, which is literally a... Matter of fact, most of those kids that work over there have passes, season passes for that. You see that Matt
That's
Price?
how they found out.
That's that Matt Price. You know, he's got all these tickets for all the prizes that he's won over there.
He's got a frequent jumper card.
Yeah, he's saving up for the FM radio with cassette player that they have behind the glass.
He's got a whole stack of tickets, though, ready to go.
Investigators told the Western Mass News crew that kids were reportedly fighting inside the adventure park, which led to police being called to intervene. And then it says Western Mass will continue to follow this story and have more information as it becomes available. But that was Saturday. I'm guessing they've already forgotten about it by then.
Probably.
Yeah. Did it ever occur to anybody that maybe the police were there to go trampoline jumping?
You know, there's lots of things to do at the Springfield Plaza besides that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a Planet Fitness across the way.
Yeah.
There's that, I think, is that a McDonald's over there? I think it's a McDonald's over there.
I haven't been over there in a while.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's stuff to do.
Yeah.
I mean, and I suppose that, you know, you're in one of those fun zone type of things.
Well, you're a fun zone type of cop. Maybe you just want to go in and have a good time. You don't think there's Greg Bigda going over there going, hey, it used to be called a jumpaline until your mom jumped on it.
You've come to the wrong town for skee ball, young man.
Yeah. So, just, you know, kind of expand your horizons a little bit and kind of think outside the box. Maybe some cops just wanted to have fun. Maybe they weren't really there to break up a fight. Maybe they were just joining in with the kids. Have you seen these videos of cops like stopping to play basketball with kids in the street?
Yeah,
How do you
right.
know there's not cops just stopping at the fun zone to jump on the trampolines?
I mean, you'd never see Springfield cops showing up somewhere just for a fight. That would never just happen.
Yeah, right. Anywhere.
Not in a million years.
I mean, Larry Akers, for all, he's got tickets. He's got tickets to cash in.
I don't know if he does. I mean, I've only met him maybe like once or twice, but seemed like a regular fella.
I want that cop hat that's behind the glass. I only need 600 more tickets. Now you guys go out and win me some more stuff at the arcade.
My options are a 5-foot teddy bear or the cop hat.
I'll take the cop hat.
I'm going to take the teddy bear.
The cop hat would be more significant, I think, or the fake badge. Like they probably have one of those like fake shoot 'em up Western sheriff badge things.
The one that says Lil Sheriff on it.
Yeah, right. Westover Air Reserve Base in Chicopee is sending out a loud noise warning to residents. According to a Facebook post, they say there will be loud noises heard from now until Sunday, February 9th, which was yesterday.
I was going to give you a loud noise a warning about an hour ago.
Oh, but I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, it was
a silent one.
I didn't expect it to go that way.
So this already happened. They were talking about the loud noises. But this kind of falls in line with, I don't know if you've noticed on these community forums, and it's become so common now that people are making fun of it, that there are these older people going on Facebook and going, did anybody hear those loud booms last night? There's always somebody in a community forum who asks where the loud booms are coming from, and nobody else hears them except for those.
Except for them.
Yeah.
Right.
Or there's somebody that goes, I think I might have heard one of them last night, but I'm not sure if I did or not.
Did anyone in the neighborhood hear voices last night? Or was that just me?
During this time, loud noises may also occur during the nighttime hours. It's an Air Force base. How many planes go in and out of there every day that are loud noises? They just become part of the background because are they talking? They must be talking about explosions. They must be blowing stuff up over there.
Well, maybe. Yeah. Or maybe just, they're closing a hangar or something. Big steel doors.
Making that loud noise when it closes.
Clunk, a large metal glunk.
And you know why? They have to put this story out so they don't have one of these old people going, what the hell is going on over there?
I didn't move to this neighborhood to be bothered by an Air Force base and all that infernal noise.
Wait, can you not fly that thing after 4? That is a big plane to be flying in the afternoon hours. I go to bed by 6.
If you live next to an Air Force base or an airport, don't you kind of assume that from time to time there will be some noises
You would
around the neighborhood?
You would think that, but some people don't get that. It's like the people who live they buy a home next to a golf course and wonder why their ball's coming in their yard.
Right. Or the people that lived like in Agawam or in Connecticut, they were complaining because Riverside Speedway was too noisy.
Yeah, I mean, you built.
Could you please turn down that noise?
You moved into the area. What did you think was going to happen? Have you ever seen those people like in Hawaii? They build their home right at the base of a volcano, and then the volcano erupts and the house is destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's somebody standing there going, I can't believe this happened.
You lived at the bottom of a volcano.
It's like building a house at the bottom of Mount St. Helens. It's going to happen again someday.
The only worst choice of living near a volcano would be if you lived inside the volcano than if you lived on the bottom of it.
According to an annual survey.
Hold on a second.
Survey said.
An estimated 22.6 million American workers plan to miss work today, Super Bowl Monday. That's why nobody's chiming in on the Route 10 Tire listener line as much as they are on a Tuesday or a Wednesday here. That's up from 16.1 million last year. It also breaks the previous record of 18.8 million from 2023. There may have been no more shows, even more no-shows than that, because this was just people who planned to stay home. There were probably even more who decided at the last minute not to go in. This is why people keep talking about just making Super Bowl Monday an annual holiday. Or move it to a Saturday night. I don't understand why that's so difficult to do.
Traditions
can be changed. We've had plenty of things in this world that have been moved to a different day. You have it on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
People can stay home Sunday morning. The worst thing they're going to do is miss church.
I would much rather take a Monday off. I know we wouldn't get the day off because we'd be required to get here and report on it. But I got to tell you, the day after Super Bowl Sunday, I'm dragging. I am wicked tired today.
What's the point of us being here if most people aren't even listening because they're not driving to work like they would normally do at this time?
Steve, if I tried to apply logic to every decision made in the radio industry,
yeah,
I mean, I'd be standing there alone because nobody in this business understands logic.
In a survey from last month, 55% of Americans said after the Super Bowl was a national holiday, but the NFL could make this debate moot by pushing the Super Bowl back 1 week so it lines up with President's Day, which is already a national holiday.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we don't usually get that off, do we?
No. We don't get it.
But then you're talking about the Super Bowl used to be in January.
Yeah.
Why is it?
Because they've expanded the length of the regular season.
Right. So
plus you've added wild card teams to the playoffs. So now you've added a couple of weeks. The only time to do it is in February.
I don't know if I'd want to be doing it, but wouldn't that overlap the Daytona 500? When is the Daytona 500?
Well, I gotta give a rat's ass about the Daytona 500. There's a bunch of guys in cars driving in circles.
Oh well, there's a lot of people that care about the Daytona 500,
and I don't care for those kinds of people.
What?
And I don't much care for those kinds of people.
I don't think they care for you very much.
Well, that's whose problem is that?
Nothing is official yet, and the Players Union says no one wants to add another game to the season, but yes, they do.
No, the
Money
players
talks,
don't.
But,
players don't.
But the owners do.
The owners do,
Yeah.
and so does the commissioner. But the players and the Players Union are saying, absolutely not. You're putting bodies at risk. And you know what? They're right about that. We don't need additional games.
Well, there's a lot of analysts out there expecting it to happen at some point.
Steve, I believe it's pronounced analysts.
Have you met anybody from the NFL?
I have.
I believe they're called analysts.
Only behind their back.
Let's see. People this Sunday, right? I don't even know what this guy's saying. Yeah, people are saying, read my mind. Have it on a Saturday. Have it on another day. The Super Bowl was great. I broke even on my bets, and Kendrick Lamar sang the Mustard song. What is that?
You're asking me, like I know?
I don't know any. I didn't know any songs.
I mean, I know the song. I can't say that I know the names of the songs. I mean, I've heard his music. It's perfectly fine. I got no problem with it.
Well, again, I had no interest in it, but my kids were excited that he's going to do it. Because of those whole Drake and Kendrick Lamar feud going on.
Well, I mean, I'm watching it last night. Oh, look, Serena Williams is dancing. How nice.
Was it Serena Williams?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
She was in there?
Dancing.
Hey, see, I wouldn't even have known that.
Because she used to date Drake.
Oh, right. We talked about that in Hollywood Trash.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I can't get involved in their feud.
You know what?
Got enough things to worry about.
Here's the thing. I didn't make any money off the Super Bowl, so it doesn't really matter to me.
I got to check the squares because I think there's a chance I may have won.
I left my list at home. Where's your list?
At home. But last night as the game was winding down, I'm like, I think I won.
All right. Well, we'll see. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today, mix of sun and clouds with a high of 34. Tomorrow, more of the same. It is 20 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
Have you been dreaming?
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 7:54, and Led Zeppelin with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Mix of sun and clouds today with a high of 33. More of the same for tomorrow. It is 20 in downtown Springfield.
Join Pat Kelly and the road crew at the Springfield RV Camping and Outdoor Show at the Eastern States Exposition this Saturday from 2 until 4. Whether you're looking for your next RV, shopping for camping accessories, or scoping out some new exciting campgrounds or outdoor experiences, this show has got something for everybody. Make sure you stop by, say hi to Pat, enter you for a chance to win Pat Kelly's camping gear. That's this Saturday, 2 to 4, the Eastern States Expo with Pat Kelly and the road crew from Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
We talked a little bit about the Super Bowl ads last night.
Yeah.
And first of all, where did Jesus come up with $8 million for an ad? That guy's doing well for himself, huh?
He saves.
Yeah, Jesus does save.
He does.
In fact, he saves a lot. He saves enough to have $8 million to pay for a Super Bowl ad. And then
I've seen the bumper stickers that he saves. He was, 2,000 years old. He's even if it's just $1 a day.
Yeah, listen, a penny a day for 2,000 years would probably warrant you enough money to spend on a Super Bowl ad in the year 2025.
Absolutely.
It's been 2,025 years. I got saved all these pennies. I even got one of these Caesar heads from back in the day. But there was the Liquid Death commercial. Did you see that? It was
I think I did.
That's that water that they sell at like concerts and stuff. And what a great marketing campaign that is, because it looks like you're drinking booze, but it's really just canned water. But the design of the can kind of gives you that feel that you're not just, holding a bottle of Aquafina.
It's bougie water.
Right. But I also noticed, did you notice the brand name of one of the cans that they had on there? Dead Billionaire. was the name of the thing. And I was like, why would you name something like that? And then I see of course, I think about things, I talk about them,
right,
and then they pop up on a TikTok feed because the phone is listening to me all the time.
Sure.
And sure enough, it goes back to 2023. Canned water company Liquid Death has announced they will change the branding of their Armless Palmer iced tea after they were threatened with a lawsuit.
By Arnold Palmer or the Arnold Palmer iced tea people?
Well, in an Instagram post, the company announced they were changing the name to drink to Dead Billionaire. Liquid Death's post claims a large enterprise, which is probably Arizona iced tea,
possibly,
because they're the ones that sell that, threatened to sue them over the use of the word Palmer in their new beverage offering to hope avoid a legal battle by changing the name. The original name, and in a different sense, the new one, of the canned water company's product draw inspiration from Arnold Palmer, the legendary golfer, who also credited inventing the beverage mixture of iced tea and lemonade, which he wasn't the first one to do it. He was just
made
the
it
one
famous.
Who made it famous. In 2002, Arizona began mass producing and selling their own iced tea lemonade concoction with Palmer's image and signature on the bottles. The golfer's name has since become synonymous with the beverage. So they don't say who the person was that was threatening with legal action, but it kind of sounds like it was Arizona iced tea. But Dead Billionaire in place of Armless Palmer. I thought Armless Palmer was a great name.
That's a real good one.
Yeah. Oh, good for that. Well, couldn't they just spell it differently?
I suppose. It could be PAHLMER.
Yeah, something like that. But,
I don't know.
I don't know. Who knows?
It's 7:58 on Rock 102.
Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Winter Storm Headquarters, before and after the storm.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Well, folks, that's it. The Super Bowl is over, and for those of you who are expecting the Kansas City Chiefs to complete an unprecedented Super Bowl three-peat, you were treated to an old-fashioned behind-the-woodshed ass-whooping at the hands of the Philadelphia Eagles instead, losing the Super Bowl by a laughable one-sided score of 40-22, thereby obliterating the very idea of a Super Bowl three-peat for many years to come. And you know what? I'm really okay with that. I think I speak for many people when I tell you I've grown a little tired of the Kansas City Chiefs constantly winning Super Bowls. It's clearly time to give somebody else a shot. Unfortunately, that somebody else had to be the Philadelphia Eagles, who, despite outplaying the Chiefs all night long, are bringing their second Lombardi trophy home to their obnoxiously poisoned fan base. Now, I know there are some people who might tell you that it is the New England football fans who are more infuriating and insufferable, but I'm here to tell you that compared to the fans of the Philadelphia Eagles, Patriots fans are completely well-behaved, much like the Apostles, for example. Case in point, last night Eagles fans around the city of Philadelphia were seen rioting, looting, and setting things on fire. In one reported incident, fans were seen throwing things out of a laundry truck, while others were busy shouting offensive slogans such as F. Taylor Swift. First of all, I can assure you that Taylor Swift already has a boyfriend. Secondly, someone's going to have to refold all that laundry. Some of it might even need to be rewashed, and that's very time-consuming. Sure, other championship cities have been prone to explosive pockets of fan violence and arson, but this was different. This was in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. Well, I'll tell you this much. If I had a brother, I wouldn't go messing around with a man's laundry. Instead, they'll be rewarded with a parade, a visit to the White House, and free championship T-shirts, which will also need to be clean, dried, and neatly folded as well. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. Your steel chainsaw occasionally needs service or repairs or sharpening. You need to take it to Mark at the South Hadley Rockies. Mark is a steel-trained chainsaw technician. He'll keep your steel purring like a kitten with very sharp teeth. Good people, rock-solid service at every Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch. Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock. It's 8:13 and Def Leppard with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Going to be a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 33. It is 21 right now in downtown Springfield. Now, last week we did these Super Bowl prop bets. We're talking about. So here's some of the results, because I don't know all of the answers to these. Because I don't know. The one I don't know is Jason Kelce. Was he wearing an Eagles jersey last night? I didn't even see. I have no idea if he was or not. But number one was Travis Kelce proposes to Taylor Swift after the game. That never happened. You said no. I said yes, so you win that one.
All right.
A coach or player will cry during the national anthem. We both said yes to that. I said it was going to be Andy Reid, but it wasn't Andy Reid.
Some other guy.
I don't think Andy Reid ever cries.
He cries.
You think when somebody calls him Wilford Brimley, like he's the diabetes guy, maybe that's when he cries silently to himself?
No, I would probably guess he cries when the box of donuts has been emptied.
But I did see I did see some player cry during the national anthem.
Yeah, I can't remember what player it was.
Number three was a quarterback catches a pass. That didn't happen. You were right about that. No. I said yes. The color Gatorade, we were both wrong about that. The color Gatorade poured on the winning coach. Purple had the best odds at 32.3%. You said orange. I said red. It was actually yellow.
Yellow.
Like urine. The urine from the Kansas City Chiefs that they collected from the field to pour over the Eagles.
Because they whizzed all over themselves all game long.
Right. I didn't know you had how many players are on the football team?
53-man roster.
53 adult bedwetters all together on one field. Let's see. Who will win the MVP? Who will the MVP mention first, God or Jesus?
And it was God.
It was God. Yeah.
Yep.
We both said the same thing.
Yeah, because that's what they do.
Yeah. Well,
that's what an MVP is supposed to do. God first, everybody else second.
Well, we were just talking about Jesus having $8 million to spend on a Super Bowl commercial. You'd think somebody would have. You're welcome. I had a commercial during the game, and
Yeah.
you didn't thank me. You thanked my dad.
I'm an advertiser.
Yeah, what?
I'm a sponsor.
Yeah, he's like John Hamm in Mad Men.
They should have said, I'm Jalen Hurts for Jesus Christ. Have you been injured in an accident?
Yeah, right. Yeah, when you hire the law offices of
God and Sons.
Of God and Sons, somebody's choking on a sandwich out there. You hired Jesus? What?
Settle.
Kendrick Lamar mentions Drake during the halftime show. You said no. I said yes, and he did, in fact, mention Drake.
I thought there would have been a better time or place to perpetuate your feud, but apparently I was wrong.
And the first celebrity cameo, I said Taylor Swift. You said Trump. I think Trump was the one shown during the national anthem.
See, it's kind of hard to say because, there were celebrities going in and out of there. There was John Hamm. There was Bradley Cooper.
But there was the two.
Yeah,
that they were choosing from, and they showed Trump first anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw this. This is one of the things I thought was actually kind of funny. This is during the pregame thing. Like Eagles fans, their big thing is to spell out Eagles. It's like EAGLES, Eagles. That was like their big thing.
Yeah,
it's pregame, and some guy, I don't know who the guy was, is being interviewed, and then they toss it to Michael Strahan, and the guy says EAGLS, Eagles.
Yeah,
and Strahan's going, dude, you might want to check the spelling of that because I don't think that's right.
That is a trending topic right now. It's Barstool Sports posted a roundup of Eagles fans who can't spell Eagles. A roundup, not just one guy.
It was one guy. It was a million people who couldn't figure it out.
It's a roundup of, ELGSEL was one of them. Some poor soul last year went down spelling it that way.
Yeah.
But they have this whole video on Barstool Sports if you want to go take a look at it that has the entire roundup of all the people who can't spell it.
The thing is, if you're in New Orleans and you're drinking like hurricanes, like, left and right.
Yeah.
My guess is you couldn't spell your own name. Never mind the name of your favorite team.
Yeah.
Because you're so loaded. And as you know, during the Super Bowl, cocktails are still reasonable.
$59. There was two that made these headlines. The prices of the concession stands. Two that made headlines was a $59 cocktail and a $100 Caprice crab salad. Are you out of your mind?
For a salad?
Here's the thing about the crowd at the Super Bowl is that you have to at least have money in order to afford a ticket or know
someone
somebody
who has money
in order to attend the game. And I think one of the reasons why they do that is what exactly you talked about in your view from the couch about these Philly fans, rolling over cars and setting things on fire and pulling down light poles and whatnot. They don't want that kind of behavior at a Super Bowl game. And people who tend to have money, or people who have money tend to not act that way when their team loses. Although there was like an overwhelming amount of Eagles fans there last night, especially when they booed Taylor Swift.
Right.
But that's kind of, you're going to get a 50-50 on that one anyway. But the booing for the Chiefs, as soon as they came out from the tunnel.
America's tired of the Chiefs.
Right.
That was an Eagles crowd last night.
It was a total Eagles crowd last night. But I'm guessing, the people that are attending this game are there because it's like, oh, I have this money to piss away. I'm going to spend at least $2,000 on a Super Bowl ticket.
Look, a few years ago, if you remember this, so New Orleans has hosted the Super Bowl a number of times. And there was one year where the New Orleans Saints won the Super Bowl in the Superdome in New Orleans.
Yeah.
All the fan violence and destruction and vandalism happened outside the Superdome.
Right.
Because the people inside the Superdome were not the kind of people that were going to start, tearing, light poles off the ground.
Because
that was the everyday Saints fan that was doing that.
Because they want to come back to the game.
That's right.
You know what I mean? They're like, well, if I do something nefarious here, I'm like, and for $59 a hit, even a rich guy ain't going to get that drunk at the Super Bowl.
No, that's why you pregame before you even get into the stadium.
$59 for a cocktail that is, let me see what this is.
So
To sip on during the big game, and it's not even like a giant thing. It's just a regular size 16-ounce cup.
I don't want to say where I was over the weekend, but somebody was ordering a drink, and they said, "Can you believe it's like a $12 cocktail?" Like $12, that's nothing.
The specialty cocktail is called Voodoo Magic and is made with Don Julio 1942 tequila.
Okay.
The bottle of that can cost upwards of $200. That explains the price of the drink.
No, it explains the price of the drink. It doesn't explain the idiot that would dish out that much money to drink it.
Can you imagine coming back to the stands? Hey, I bought 10 of these for all my friends that I brought to the Super Bowl. $590 for cocktails. NFL fans were baffled by the cost of the drink and shared their thoughts on social media. Good God, do you get to keep the commemorative cup at least? I'm sorry, I thought you said a $59 cocktail? Was the juice worth the wallet squeeze? A cup of wine was $50 at Super Bowl 50 in Santa Clara. A fourth fan had chimed in on that.
$50 for a single glass of wine.
Yeah, well, I can feel the secondhand shame, said a fifth fan. Cocktails aren't the only concessions that are extravagantly priced at the Super Bowl. According to reports, domestic beers are as steep as $17.
Good Lord.
$17 for like a Budweiser? Are you out of your mind?
Well, I once got jacked for $20 for a beer in New York at like the ESPN zone.
Oh, yeah. I remember going to a Yankee game probably, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was like...
This is probably about that same amount of time, 50 or $20 for a beer.
It was $13 or $14, but that's still high priced for
it's outrageous.
Domestic beer.
It's outrageous.
I came home broke. I had to... I'm still financing those beers on my high-interest credit card.
See, but here's the thing. Even with those prices, nobody in the Superdome you walked out of there broke. Everybody that was in Philadelphia, pulling laundry out of the laundry truck and setting police vehicles on fire. Those are the guys with jack squat to spend. That's just free fun right there.
That's a win in Rome thing.
Exactly.
You're in Philly. You're going to have to, something is going to get set on fire.
Of course.
And I love how they greased the poles so people couldn't climb them, yet they were carrying the pole. They're like, wow, if you're going to grease this thing, we're just going to rip it out of the ground. You got to give them credit. I mean, they're passionate people.
Oh, they are. They're insufferable, but they're passionate.
Fans can opt out for other less premium cocktails like a frozen Irish coffee, a pina colada, or a Bayou strawberry daiquiri, which costs only $18.99.
Oh, that's totally reasonable.
And it probably has about like a tenth of the amount of alcohol in it that
you would normally get on Bourbon Street.
Or if you want to splurge, a $200 can of wine can be purchased for sipping. A can of wine?
Why would you ever do that?
Oh, and here's the name I messed up for the Big Y commercial, the Table and Vine commercial, the Veuve Clicquot Brut Pinot Grigio.
Mm-hmm.
It was also up for sale. You could get that for a mere $150.
Isn't that what the whole bottle would cost?
Yeah, if you were to buy it retail, but. I mean, if you're buying it to impress your douchebag friends at the Super Bowl party.
How do you not feel like a total douche even asking for that?
But hot dogs were only $4.
Oh, see?
I guess you pick. See, this is
you pick and choose what you really want to get out of it.
You make that the cheapest thing in order to not get people to drink so much and destroy, take down light poles inside the Super Bowl.
These are hot dogs with very dry buns. You're going to have to drink something to pack that thing down.
I guess so.
It's 8:24 on Rock 102.
Gets to buy the next king cake. And I was the one who bit into the cake and found the king. I found the baby Jesus.
Did you wind up buying the next king cake?
No, I mean, it was all for show. Like,
Oh,
they weren't
yeah.
going to... What was that? Well, I already paid $20 to get into this stupid museum. You think, I'm going to pay for another king cake?
Boy, a $30 king cake. You don't want to do that for all those people.
It was a Betty Crocker, and somebody put a plastic Jesus inside.
We got news next to Rock 102. 832 with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102. It's time for news brought to you by Yankee Home Improvement. Breaking news, homeowners are saving big on windows and showers. Call Yankee Home by Thursday and don't miss out. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. Where is this story here? Oh, yeah, heavy police presence over the weekend on Saturday night at the Springfield Plaza on Liberty Street, right in front of Fun City Adventure Park. When the Western Mass news crews arrived on scene shortly after 7 p.m., how long do you think it took them to get there?
I don't have any idea.
A line of police
Probably
crews.
all day. They probably had to figure out, how do we get there from across the street?
Well, our boss sent us across town to check out the snow plows, and we didn't know how to get back. A line of police cruisers could be seen lined up along the sidewalk. Investigators told their news crews that kids were reportedly fighting inside the adventure park, which led police to being called to intervene. And Western Mass News will continue to follow this story and have more information as it becomes available. I believe that there's a standoff going on between police and kids right now that's been going on since Saturday night because I haven't heard any other updates.
Yeah, I don't know what happened over there. I mean, I don't know if it happened inside the Adventureland theme park. I don't really know, but I do know that they do have bumper boats over there, and I have seen people get very upset with bumper boats.
There's bumper boats in there?
Well, like bumper cars, but they're more shaped like boats.
Oh, but it's not. You're not in water.
You're not in water, but they're shaped like boats.
I thought you were meant like there was like this indoor water thing going on over there.
No.
I've only been there once. It was a trampoline. It's like a
was a
trampoline,
trampoline.
like arcade type thing, right?
Yeah, it's more like that now. Now I can't see a lot of problems happening there unless you two guys been in the bumper boats, all of a sudden starting to, drop fists all over the place. I can see people getting upset at the registry of motor vehicles.
Yeah.
A more villainous hive of wretch and villainy than you will find anywhere.
That is over in that same plaza there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But that was closed Saturday night. You're not going to find any fights at an
There's
RMV.
no late night, registrations for your car.
There should be a 24-hour RMV right next to a bar.
Yeah, you can have dinner at the 99, head on over, change your plates.
Somebody getting a Cinderella license at midnight.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I got this DUI. I need a Cinderella license. Well, why don't you go wait at the bar for us across the street?
I'll just drive on over because it's a little far walk from the 99 to the RMV.
Well, they give you the buzzer like the 99 gives you when your DUI Cinderella license is ready. You're sitting at the bar at the 99, drinking, I don't know, what do they sell at the 99? Oh, one of those big ass beers, right?
Yeah, right.
And you're waiting for your buzzer to go off to the RMV to get your Cinderella license.
Is this for a table or is this for to stand in line? Oh, this is for the line.
This is for you to get $500 to get your license reinstated, sir. This is what this is for. Connecticut State Police responded to Lakeshore Boulevard in Stafford for a reported ATV accident on Saturday afternoon. Police said there were serious injuries, but the individual is expected to recover. Lifestar responded as the accident happened on a frozen lake. Man, that would have been a really expensive rescue had they had to take you. You're talking like $70,000 for a life flight trip.
What does it cost to rescue the ATV? Those things can be pretty expensive too.
Well, I mean, $10,000 maybe for like a 4-wheeler.
Yeah, but if you got like one of them bigger side by sides, I mean, I'm gonna, it's gonna. I don't want to just leave it in the lake.
You know what? I want one of those amphibious ATVs.
Oh, yeah?
Those when you drive it along and then you can just drive it right into the water and then it converts into like a boat. You ever see one of those things?
Yeah, it's like the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang of recreational
Yes,
vehicles.
that would be the one.
They can drive on the streets, in the air, on water.
I can see myself retiring in something like that.
Yes, I can definitely see you in your later years enjoying that kind of thing.
A 35-year-old man from Hamden, Connecticut, is facing multiple charges after a hit and run back in December. According to the Hamden police, on December 20th at around 5:58 p.m., officers were dispatched to the area of School Street for a report of a pedestrian struck by a car and that the driver had fled the scene. When police arrived, they found a seriously injured woman who had been struck by a vehicle. On December 26, one officer found the vehicle was involved in the incident while he was on routine patrol. Following a thorough investigation, an arrest warrant was granted for 35-year-old Christopher Carey of Hamden. Carey was arrested and is facing charges of assault with the second degree, reckless endangerment, evading responsibility, reckless driving, failure to drive in a proper lane, and operating an unregistered motor vehicle. He was released on a $30,000 bond and is expected in court on February 19th. Who can hit a lady?
Drive the car away.
Act like he ain't do it when he's questioned by the police. The Hamden man.
Oh, the Hamden man
The Hamden man can, because I don't know. What does he do? Thinks he's real slick, but he's not so cool.
Yeah, you're not supposed to drive away from an accident. They
tell
you that right. You're right at the RMV while you're waiting for your table at the 99.
That is frowned upon. Let's talk about the Super Bowl again, just to bring this back up for these Super Bowl ads. How creepy was that seal ad?
Wicked creepy.
The Mountain Dew Super Bowl ad turns Seal the singer into a singing seal. The commercial also features Becky G and Mountain Dew's Mountain Dude. They enter a portal and they land in a boat out on the ocean where a group of seals, as in the actual mammals, appear.
Yes.
At the top of the rock, Seal's face appears on a seal's body.
And sings a song about being unable to hold his can of Mountain Dew because of his flippers.
The 61-year-old then...
He's that old, really?
Yeah, well, I mean... He
has been around for a long time.
Yeah. He was like in his 30s when he came out with that Kiss from a Rose song when he did that for the Batman. Wasn't it the Batman movie?
It was a Batman movie.
The 61-year-old then sings a version of the Kiss from a Rose with new lyrics that highlight the soft drink's appeal. I think we should sing that. Yeah, towards the end of the commercial, Seal, with his whole human body, is in the boat with Becky G and the Mountain Dude, commenting that he saw a good-looking seal. The Mountain Dude has the last word saying, "None of this makes sense." Seal shared the video on social media, saying he had fun making the ad.
I'm sure he had fun cashing the check, too.
Who was the hot supermodel he was married, or he is married to?
That
lady.
Heidi Klum.
Heidi Klum.
Was that it?
Heidi Klum? Who's Seal married to?
I don't even know.
I married a seal. It is Heidi Klum.
Heidi Klum, that's what I thought.
Yeah. They're still married after all this time.
Well, I'll tell you what, why not?
See, even a guy like that with that big scar on his face, he can get a hot chick. That gives us hope for the rest of us.
He's good looking everywhere else.
Is he?
He just get that little thing on his face.
Well, yeah, he's got the whole thing. Did you find the song, by the way?
Oh, you honestly want to do that?
You don't want to say that's a classic hit. What an incredible piece of great time alone on the sea. You
Yeah, I can't sing this.
The light on the dark side of me. Love remains a drug that's a high and not the pill. But did you know that when it snows, my eyes become large and the light that you shine can't be seen? This is like a different version.
Yeah, you know.
Baby, I can bathe you a kiss from a
All right, okay,
rose.
that's I can't.
What does that mean?
A kiss from a rose?
On the gray.
I don't know.
Is he talking about his downtowns?
You'd have to ask him.
I mean, at this age, he's 61 years old. You know he's got a few gray ones down there. A kiss from the rose on the gray.
Makes him look distinguished.
Yeah. Ooh,
of
the
course.
more I get of you, stranger it feels. All right.
All right. Listen, it's all right.
He can still make Heidi Klum all night long.
Oh, I bet.
Even from A Kiss from the Rose on the Gray.
Bottom line, that's a really wicked, creepy commercial.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it was a great song that he came up with. I
Oh,
can't
it's a
believe
beautiful
you
track.
didn't want to participate in that.
I'm not feeling it.
You're not
I'm
feeling
so
it.
damn tired. This Super Bowl nonsense, being up late night on a Sunday. I should normally be asleep like 2.5 hours earlier. I'm dragging, man. I'm dragging.
You need to get one of them 5-hour energy shots every morning.
I would need to have like 5 of them every 5 minutes.
You only need one. We need to pep you up a little bit.
Yeah, you do.
That age is catching up with you, man.
I'm almost seal age.
You are almost seal age. Can you imagine you're only just a few years away from seal?
The more I think about how close I am to 60.
Like he was a senior and you were a freshman in high school.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
Like you when you're about to turn 59, like I will this year, you suddenly start looking at 60 like that used to be so ancient. It used to sound so old, and it's just a year and a few months away. It's like a year and 8 months.
You don't feel that old though. I'm 40. I'll be 47 this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
It seems like I remember you when you were like 28.
You did.
Yeah, that's what it seems
how long
like.
it was. But
it seems like forever.
I'll be 47 this year. That makes me feel old.
Yeah.
What an old man.
Yeah, I know. I can't even imagine can't even imagine what you're going through.
Yeah, I'm picking up my new glasses today.
Are you really?
Yeah, with the readers included in them.
Ah, progressives?
Yes, progressive. So I don't have to look like a douche pulling out one pair of glasses for one activity versus 2 pairs of glasses.
I give you 3 months, you'll crack them.
Don't jinx me.
I'm not jinxing you. You've never owned a pair of glasses you didn't sit on and break.
At the age of 46, I think I'm going to be a little bit more responsible with these
you need to
higher priced. These things cost me like over $200.
You need to be one of those guys that gets the chain around your neck and the glasses go on the bottom of the chain so it's always around your neck like a big fat medallion.
Oh, like I'm what's his name? What's the rapper's name? The one that
like Flavor Flav.
Flavor
Except rather than a clock,
yeah,
it's a pair of progressive lenses.
It's a pair of progressives.
Yeah, it's exactly what you should do.
I think maybe you're onto something here.
So when Chuck D says, "What time is it?" you say, "Well, hold on, let me get my glasses.
Let me get my readers on. I'll check for you."
Yeah, exactly.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast today going to be a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 33. Tomorrow, more of the same with a high of 33. It's 25 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
Looking for
to Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:51 and Smashing Pumpkins with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. Yeah, I'm sure if he were alive today, Bill Burr's father would be very proud of that music.
I'm sure if Billy Corgan was still alive today, he'd
Billy Corgan's still very much alive.
Yes, unfortunately, he's
Come on now.
well on the airwaves.
Come on now. Hey, just so anyone is familiar with Pat Kelly, he knows how much he loves the outdoors. Pat Kelly and the Road Crew are going to be the Springfield RV Camping and Outdoor Show at the Eastern States Exposition Grounds this Saturday from 2 until 4. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I've been to this thing. You ever been to this the show?
Yes.
Unbelievable things that are out there.
We talked a little bit about this last week about these bougie, the BMW campers and the Mercedes-Benz ones.
Oh yeah, I mean, some of the upper scale things that there are out there will be there at the Camping Outdoor and RV Show. But there's also a lot of real affordable things too. So whether you're looking for your next RV or shopping for camping accessories, this is the event of the year, and Pat is going to be there with your chance to win Pat Kelly's camping gear. That's this Saturday, 2 to 4 at the Big E with Pat Kelly and Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock.
Well, there you go.
There you have it.
Egg-related crimes are up. You know, we were talking last week there was 100,000 eggs stolen from Pennsylvania.
100,000 eggs. No one can eat 100,000 eggs.
Someone in Seattle stole more than 500 eggs from a restaurant the other night.
You think like an egg caper seems to be just so I mean, I realize people love eggs, and I realize you need eggs for certain recipes. But, I mean, at some point, there's going to be a bigger supply of eggs.
I got to tell you, there's a part of this that, yeah, there's this bird flu going around, and, eggs are getting a little bit more scarce than they have been. But there's also some price gouging going on the retailer. Because I was in the grocery store the other night. Now, I don't buy my eggs in the grocery store.
You lay your own.
Of course I do. I'm the chicken lady from that. Actually, you just stirred up a memory. The chicken lady was what's his name?
McKinnon. Mark McKinney.
Mark McKinney.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And he was and they're eating eggs at the table, and he's like, "Oh, these eggs are good. Yeah, they're fresh from my body." No, I buy them local. There's farm stands all over the place. You can go buy at $5 for a dozen. It was $11.99 the other day in the grocery store for eggs that are not farm fresh, which is ironic because you think that a farm fresh egg would be a hell of a lot more than a mass produced egg.
Yeah, but it's not the individual retailer that's necessarily setting the price
or
here.
the supplier.
It's the supplier.
But still,
and where are they getting them?
Yeah, I'm not buying the fact that the eggs cost that much.
If there's a lack of supply, then the price goes up. That's just that's called economics.
But where are you to draw the line? Aren't there rules like during a hurricane or something like that? You're not allowed to, because that happened. I remember that back in 1992 when Hurricane Andrew came, and
there were some people that were price gouging.
Price of tuna fish was like $20, and it's like, okay, you people need to eat. You can't be.
Yeah, but in situations like this, where a health crisis with chickens has caused a supply and demand issue, I mean, your farm stand is a great way to go because they're harvesting their own eggs.
Right, but how much of these prices are from either suppliers or retailers jacking up the price knowing that they can get that much.
The retailer wants to do what's best they can for their customers because they don't want to piss off customers. Mm-hmm. The suppliers don't really care, so their customers are the local, retailers. Mm-hmm. They're more concerned about their, how they're dealing with supply and demand issues.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it gets passed down to the consumer, a guy who, desperately wants an omelet. Or wants to make, say, like an egg salad sandwich. How Barry Krieger is surviving right now, I will never know. But sometimes that's the way the economy works.
I wonder how he is surviving. I don't know how that works for him. For a guy who's poisoned. And by the way, I made poached eggs I'm changing the subject of the price because I think there's some nefarious stuff going on behind there.
You're naturally suspicious.
Well, of course I need to be. But I made poached eggs.
Uh-huh.
Now, last week, I tried to make poached eggs for the first time because I love some Eggs Benedict. There ain't nothing good like that. And I tried to do it in the pan with the water. First time I've ever tried doing this. And they all fell apart. Like, there's no, I don't know how to do that.
Okay.
And I know you're using a slotted spoon and all that stuff to get them out of the water. But there was something about the way I was doing it. I know you're supposed to put vinegar in there, which I did, and whatever.
Did you spin the water in a centrifugal way?
I tried to, do all the things I learned on a YouTube video on how to do this.
Did you crack the eggs directly into the water, or did you put them in a little bowl and then pour them in?
I put them directly into the water. That's what it says to do.
Try with a little bowl.
All right, get this now. So then I'm on TikTok, and I see this guy. There's this Southern guy on there. He's the 40-year-old man. Do you ever see that guy? You're telling me for 40 years I could have been doing that?
Yeah.
And it's always some different thing that he's trying out.
Mm-hmm.
He shows the video of putting them all in a bowl of water, then putting it in the microwave for 3 minutes, and they come out absolutely perfect. And you can get them right out of the bowl without them breaking.
Do that.
But why is when the first thing you Google is this is how you do it in a pan, this is how you do it in a simmer? I'm like, why wouldn't you make the top search the microwave easy version?
See, I like a hollandaise sauce, but I don't like the poached egg. Because the poached egg oftentimes comes out like it's not fully cooked, and it looks like someone blew their nose on the egg, and I don't like that.
Well, but that's why you got to cook it for 3 minutes in the microwave.
Yeah,
well, I guess it depends on the strength of your microwave.
Of course it does.
I got a pretty sturdy microwave.
Well, I'm not doing anything with eggs in a microwave at $11 a dozen.
Well, that's why you got to go to your local farm stand and get them for $5. This is what people are like.
Not everybody has access to a local farm stand. Some people live in the city, can't get out to the country, can't get out to
in
the
this
burbs.
area. You're close enough to drive somewhere where you can find somebody selling eggs on the side
Suppose I only
of the road.
take public transportation. I can't get to a rural area to buy my eggs. And then I get back on the bus and all of a sudden I got a bunch of eggs and a bunch of people on the bus want to jack me for my eggs.
It's worth the savings. Eggs are always cheaper in the country.
Then I got to pay for the bus or the Uber or the cab.
Uber.
Or the bike. However I'm grabbing my eggs.
I guess so.
It's not as simple as all you think it is.
I think we're running out of time here.
It is 8:58 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.